treasure or junk, or someone's creation. Get some background information and find out where it's made in.
Okay, this adorable looking pooch is something called a dummy board. I'm not calling the dog stupid, that's just what the board is called. These were a fad in the Netherlands between 1650 and 1750, roughly, and they also made their way to places like America. So this dummy board, traditionally they're made out of, they're an oil painting that's put on top of wooden planks, and they're supposed to be life-sized. So this one is life-sized because it is the size of one of those types of dogs. I think that's a Prince Charles Spaniel. That's what I believe that is. But a lot of dummy boards are a lot bigger because some of them were fireplaces or people, and I'm going to get into why. Okay, so one of two reasons why someone in the 1650s might have purchased a dummy board for their home. The first reason is basically trickery. So if you had a dinner party, you had a bunch of guests over, you could have these dummy boards out in the living room or something like that, and you could trick your guests into thinking that these things were real because they were oil paintings that had a lot of depth and they could trick the eye, sort of like one of those 90s magic eye books or something. This was like a conversation piece when you had guests over. And likewise, it could fill the room if you didn't have like enough items or objects in a room. It could kind of fill a space out by having one of these dummy boards placed in the room. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is to deter thieves. So some people put dummy boards in their windows, and some people put dummy boards, especially if they were wealthier people, they would put dummy boards outside or inside of rooms that contained valuables. So for example, someone might have a lifelike guard made to make it look like basically security personnel in the home. Now I know what you're thinking. What thief would be so stupid to be deterred by a board, by a wooden board? That was my first thought. But some articles I read kind of clarified that for me. I wasn't looking at it in the right way. I was looking at it from a modern perspective. Back then, let's say you were a thief, you weren't shining a flashlight into a room. You were shining a lantern. I mean, this is a flickering light. So if you make your way through some kind of hallway and then you turn the corner and the flickering light of your lantern sees one of these guards, you might jump out of surprise and run away because this looked like a real person to you. You weren't expecting anyone to be there. So there is some evidence that these may have actually deterred some thieves. I'm not sure. But one interesting piece of information for you is that the artist Rembrandt, he actually had a dummy board made of his maid, of the lady who cleaned his house. So he put that in the window to try to trick passers-by, which passers-by sounds kind of weird. I feel like it should be passerbys, but I think it's like attorneys general, where instead of saying attorney generals. Anyway, just some random side note. But basically, Rembrandt had a good laugh when people would, walk by and see that maid. It does lead me to wonder, what was his relationship with this maid? First of all, was he married? Was he single? I don't know. I didn't look it up. But did he find this maid attractive and that's why he painted her? Who knows? But maybe I'll look into it one day when I'm bored. So anyway, it is time to find out where this particular dummy board was made. I will tell you that it is made by a company called Stupel, and they are still seemingly around today. I could not verify it was the same Stupel as today, but there is one that makes home decor, so I do have to assume this is the same company. The artist is still alive. She lives either in Connecticut or Florida. It looks like she splits her time. But yeah, she is around, and this dummy board, it's made in America. The painting itself was done in America. And so this is a true American item, and it's not worth much monetarily, so you can pick one of these up from the internet for like $10. So if you do like it, if you think it's cool, you could easily pick one up for low cost, which I recommend. I think it's pretty well built. You could put it in your window and see if it tricks people. I don't know. So yeah,